ahead and then I'll begin. Is the PPT visible, ma'am?
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
sir.
Great enough. So we'll be talking about, as I said, importance of copyright protection in academics and research, where I will be concentrating. Let us first understand what copyright is all about for the students, for engineering students. Now, copyright is a legal means of protecting an author's work. So whatever I write, be it a research paper, a dissertation report, a project report, a poem, a song, if I make a film, everything comes under copyright. It is one type of intellectual property, very different from patents, trademarks, geographical indications, that provides exclusive publication, distribution, and usage rights to the author. Now, if I write something, by default, I don't even have to go to the courts to get my copyright registered. By default, the moment I write something, I own the copyright to that content. It may be a web-based content, it may be a blog, a vlog, a video that I have made, everything. The moment it is the creation of my original mind, it comes under copyright. Whatever content the author has created cannot be used or published by anyone else without the consent of the author. The length of copyright protection may vary from country to country. In India, as per the Indian copyright law, which was framed in 1957 and has been amended 5 times since then, it is the author's life. For example, if he lives for like 70 years plus 60 years beyond his life, he can still earn the royalty on the copyright of his work. Copyright for engineers. We have a lot of students here. We seldom realize the importance of copyrights. We write a research paper, we think it is okay to copy, take a research paper, copy a paragraph, not acknowledge in the references and publish it as your original. Now, if this was done 10 years back, things would have been easy. From the last 10 years, so much of work has been done in the field of copyrights and there is so much of awareness and updations in the law. Today, if you try to copy content, you can be sued. So it says any content you create is your copyright, as I told you. Your engineering project work, any kind of project research, software codes you write, which are your individual coding, the pictures you take, if you're into photography, the online videos you create. I see a lot of students making short films these days. They make documentaries. They make videos on, reviewing new cars in the market, reviewing a new product. Everything which you have done as your work originally, I repeat, you do not need to go to the court to register it as in the case of patents. The moment you write, the moment you create something original, it is your copyrighted work. However, it is suggested to also get it registered to give it a legal validity. Use your project work. It is possible for anybody to profit from your work. Somebody can use your project work in their product or service. They can publish your video without consent on YouTube and make ad revenues. They can use your software code as a part of their commercial software. Your pictures can be used for somebody's marketing promotional brochure, for example. All of these, please make sure please keep in mind they are your copyrighted works. Individuals who use your stolen copyright typically belong to which profile? They do not conduct their own research. They do not write their own project work or software codes. They have very less creativity. They put in less original efforts in projects, software, PhD thesis, and they seek to profit from your work. Please make sure you do not fall in the category of these individuals. They might get more marks. They've stolen your project, your assignments, academic and industry recognition, money from software, and ad revenue. They might publish your work as their own and make money out of it. They can even commercialize it. Why does this happen? Why do we plagiarize content? What is the psychology of original copyright work? It takes a lot of effort to create anything which is original. And at times we think it is easy to lift something from here and there and produce it as our own. Now we need to change this habit because it is today you're copying assignments. Professors may be lenient. They don't want to spoil your career. This habit might become your character. We need to change this. What we need to do is start producing original work from today. Of course, it requires research. It requires effort in documentation, as it says in the slide. It requires effort in creating your own software codes. Engineers who create original copyright work, They become very knowledgeable over the years. They keep gathering valuable research inputs. They develop this expertise in one or several areas where they research. They develop reputation in academic institutions and industries. When you face a job interview, you come across as more authoritative and more convincing when you speak about your original work rather than what you've copied from a friend. And you're able to talk in detail about a number of topics because the amount of hours that you have put into research. Where all is copyright taken very, very seriously. As engineering graduates, once you get into industries after your placements, manufacturing industries, you design a lot of brochures about the product that is being launched or redesigned. The designing of brochures is a very, very cumbersome task. Make sure you do not copy anybody else's, any company's else's paragraph or brochure. It has to be absolutely original. Product research. Before launching a new product, a lot of research goes into it. Marketing. Even in marketing fields, you prepare a lot of brochures, data sheets, presentations, which should be your original work. Do not give yourself a bad name in a presentation, in a board meeting where you have actually copied the data, the numbers from someone else's presentation. Software industry, as I told you, it is very important that your codes are your codes and not copied. Whatever applications you're designing, programs you're designing, software code should be original. Social media, very, very important. All videos, articles are subjected to copyright on the digital platform. We are living in the age of digital media. So whether you write blogs, you write vlogs, you put videos, everything is subject to copyright. Education, every educational material, a small research article, a small research paper, your dissertation, your project work, the assignments that you write. The moment you create an assignment, it is your copyright. Please don't let it float among your friends and let them copy it. Please develop the habit of doing something original. It may be similar, but it should not be copied. Research and development. R&D industries definitely want you to put in original research. As I said earlier, I'll just quickly run through this. What is covered under copyrights? Books, research papers or articles, dissertation reports, project reports. It could be your PhD thesis, assignments, online videos, online tutorials for professors. If I'm putting a video lecture on YouTube, it is, I won't even come to know, and he might be making money from that video. There would be ads running on YouTube and he will be monetizing your content. Blogs, online tutorials, video lectures, online reviews. People give a lot of reviews. And then films, shorts, short films, documentaries, reviews, etc. In modern times, copyright protection, as I said, has been totally extended to websites and other online content. Any original content published on the web is protected by copyright law. This is important in the digital age, since a large amount of data can be very quickly copied. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There is a slight disturbance.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, but there is a disturbance in between. And one more thing, can you just confirm the screen which you have shared? There is a
Shall I come back to that?
Yes, please.
I'll just, seems to have gone now, ma'am. Let me share it again. Please move this window away from. I would not know how has it cropped in. Yes, ma'am, you were saying something, Varsha, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am? Sonali, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now you're audible.
I think she's talking about this window which says, please move. I'm not able to remove it somehow. Shall we continue the way?
Ma'am, your voice is also breaking in between.
Check the internet connection again. Ma'am, is it better now? A little better?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible now.
And the voice, is it better?
Yes, it is now.
Okay, great. So I will quickly run through the main sections of the copyright law in India. It's a big act and it has around 60 pages, but I'll only cover what is important. The Copyright Act 1957, it protects original literary, dramatic, musical and artistic works and cinematograph films and sound recordings. Unlike the case with patents, I repeat,
Ma'am, your voice is breaking again.
students should remember this: copyright protects the expressions and not the ideas. So if you have an idea in mind that is known, will it help?
Ma'am, again your voice is breaking.
Is it better now? Just give me a moment then.
Yes.
Just give me a moment, ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me properly now?
Yes, ma'am.
Great enough. So we were talking about the copyright law in India, which is Indian Copyright Act 1957. It says you can only copyright the expression of an idea and not an idea. So if you say it was an idea in my mind and the second day somebody else wrote it, it is not considered unless and until you express it verbally, whether oral or written. And as I earlier said, registration of a copyright is not compulsory. The moment you create something original, by default, it is your copyrighted work. However, it is suggested that one must get the copyright to his or her work registered due to low awareness in the users. Enforcement, very important. These days, people are going to court for their work being plagiarized. I'll discuss a few examples which have happened in the past few years. First, let us look what are the remedies available if somebody goes to court. Permanent injunction. You can be permanently stopped from using that particular work which you have infringed upon somebody's copyright. You can have to pay financial damages in the terms of penalty. Reputational damage, of course, it will be in your academic record that you wrote a paper which was actually copied from one of the previous published papers. You will also have to bear the legal proceeding costs of the person who has sued you. Imprisonment can also be there depending upon the severity of the copyright infringement. It could be minimum 6 months up to 3 years. Fine could be minimum rupees 50,000 to 2 lakhs depending upon the severity. If you second time or you're a repeat offender, you keep doing it, the police has the authority under the act to register an FIR against you. You can be arrested, your premises can be searched, and whatever copies are lying with you, which are the infringed material of somebody else that can be seized. And this all can be done by the police without the intervention of the court. There are two sides to copyright in academic research and publication. A, your right in the copyrighted work you are creating as a student or a professor. It could be a research paper, a dissertation report, a project report, or a book that you write. And the rights of other authors or creators of copyrighted works that you are using. So even if you use, because it is not necessary that you're the first person who is researching on that topic. There could be a person who has written paper on that before and you want to quote him. Make sure you quote him with proper references. I'll share a references slide how it is made. If you take a content from an already published book, make sure you write the name of the book, the name of the authors, the year of publication, the chapter number, the page number, it should be properly quoted, or else it is considered as copying and plagiarism. Copyrights for students now. So copying in the exam does not have any legal implication. Professors would not send you to jail or spoil your career, but that can go on your academic record. That is one aspect. Now, as an engineering graduate, somebody who's in the 7th or 8th semester, when you write a research paper or article that is copied from some original paper, and that person comes across it and gets to know that you have copied him, now there is a legal implication. A, you can be taken to court. In a country like India, people would delay taking you to court, but you can suffer reputational damage, which can go on your academic record and spoil your chances of getting a job. It can also lead to deplatforming. Now, deplatforming is a very in term these days. Deplatforming means for say a period of 2 years, 3 years, depending upon what you have done, You may be deplatformed. You might be banned from going to conferences and seminars to speak. You might be banned from writing further research papers for a particular period. This is called deplatforming. I'll explain that in the next slide. The last point says even something as serious as a PhD degree can be rendered worthless if somebody puts a case that even a small little paragraph has been copied from him and you have not given him due acknowledgement. Deplatforming, as I said, banning individuals from industry or academic bodies. For example, if you are a member of HRIS, you're an MBA in HR and you're a member of that organization, you can be banned from being a member. Resigning speaking opportunities at seminars and conferences. You can be banned from going to conferences and seminars, which loses your opportunity of meeting new people and adding that seminar to your CV. Social media bans and demonetization. So in case you put a video, the content of which you have stolen from somebody else, then that video can be banned. If not banned, the ad revenue on that video can stop. And also you will have to pay to the grieving party the amount of money you have already made from the video that you have copied from him or her. These three cases I came across as very, very important to discuss. There are n number of cases available on the internet. The Professor B.S. Rajput controversy, which happened in 2002 in Kumaon University. I belong to Uttarakhand, so probably I got glued to the case. Professor B.S. Rajput, along with a student, he wrote a research paper. And Dr. Kavita Pandey, who's a faculty in the same university, challenged him on the grounds that she has read this research somewhere else. She produced the original research. Professor B.S. Rajput initially said he was not involved. Then he said one of his students, without his approval, added that particular paragraph in the paper and he was not aware of it. A case was filed against Professor B.S. Rajput. It went up to 3 years. In the end, Professor Rajput had to resign from Kumaon University. And that still has, the name is still there on the internet. He is definitely working somewhere now. I'll have to look into it. But it has gone into his academic record and his name is all over on Google. If you just type B.S. Rajput, the first thing that comes is controversy of plagiarism. So these are few serious cases which have taken place. Director N. Ravichandran had to resign from IIM Indore in 2012. He had written a research paper in conjunction with one of his colleagues. The game kept on going on for about 5 years, wherein he kept throwing the ball in his colleague's court and he threw it back to Director Ravichandran saying, I don't know about this. He said, I don't know about this. Finally, he had to resign. I have given the links to these controversy in the reference pages. So once you click on those links, you can see that page. Gopal Kundu controversy, 2007. This again, Professor Gopal Kundu was accused of plagiarizing a US-based research paper. And when found guilty, he himself admitted and resigned. So these are three prominent cases. Otherwise, there are small little cases everywhere on Google. These days, it is coming into notice. We also have a lot of software these days, which can actually, if you have that software, some are free, some are paid. If that software is installed in your educational institution, even if one line is copied from a previously published research paper, it is going to catch that particular line. So please be very careful of that. These are the links I was talking about. These are two newspaper links, one which says plagiarism in research papers will be punished. AICTE in May 2018 gave guidelines as to how they try to do that. Education, it says UGC to provide free online plagiarism detection tools. There are 3 tools available as of now, which are paid, but the ministry promised to provide certain free plagiarism detection software. Any of your student or professor trying to copy, he will be caught there and then. These top 3 are paid: Plagiarism Checker, Grammarly Premium, and CopyLeaks. Rest all are freely available online. So once you have these installed, even a line that has been copied from any previously published paper will definitely be caught. These are the references that I have used. Since I'm talking on copyright, I cannot lift material without acknowledging the people whose reference I have used. Make sure when you put references in your dissertation or article or PPT, make sure that they are workable links. So if you click on any one of these, it should take you to that particular link. That's where I end. Somebody raised hands. Can I please invite questions now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there is one question from Yasir Sheikh.
Right.
He says, ma'am, suppose we are using something, suppose numbers regarding some data or something. Example, numbers of user of some product or something. So it will be same for everyone. Does that count too? Yasir,
Okay.
can you be
Whatever I
clear?
understood,
Ma'am, did you get that?
I got a part of it. I may explain that. In case it is not clear to him, he may ask again.
Yasir, can you be a bit clear of your query? Or anyone is having any query?
I think I'll answer that, Sonali ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So I presume he's saying that if he uses pre-published data, for example, it could be population statistics or any product sales, for example. So I presume he's saying that that data has to be same. He cannot change it. So he will copy it the way it is. So yes, Yasir, you will be copying the data the way it is. Even if 10 other people use the same data for their research papers, there'll be 10 people using the same data. It has to be same. You cannot change it. But make sure in the references or below that data table, you quote the source from where have you taken it. Then it also lends credibility to your using that particular data in your research paper or article. You have to give the source, and that source or the link should be workable. So if I go there and try to check, it should be there. If that is what you asked. Thank you.
Okay. Medha Mogi ma'am has a query. Ma'am, I'll unmute you if you want to speak.
Yes,
Medha
ma'am.
ma'am?
Yeah, I had written also that query. Like, suppose if you are using some formulae which are there published, which are a product of some scientists, old scientists, like for example Newton's law of motion or something like that. Now everybody uses it, all these things. So what about all such things? Like we are setting papers with that, or we are using them in our calculations, which are trademark. Are you understanding me?
Yes, ma'am, I'm listening. Please complete.
So how about copyright of such? Can't we use it? Like I am not going to, of course, while talking, one teacher or anybody will say it is Newton's law or any Terzagi's law or whatever. But we are using them, and our calculations or any work cannot proceed without using such internationally famous laws and all, because all books, textbooks, everything is based on these their principles and laws.
Yeah, you done, ma'am?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. Ma'am, the first thing is that in case we are talking about the legal implication, the copyright only, the duration of the copyright is the author, for example, the author died in 1970, it will continue up to 60 years, post which anybody can use it, ma'am. Medha, ma'am. So
No,
if you're talking about...
am I audible?
If you're talking about Newton, yes, which
Yes,
has
ma'am.
been... Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. So if these are very, very old laws, for example, Pythagoras theorem, you know.
Yeah.
So, yes. So I have studied that. You have probably my children will also study that. So you have already said it is Pythagoras theorem. You're not saying this is copyrighted by Medha ma'am or I have created this. So as long as you're acknowledging that is one thing, you can use it. And these are tried and tested and used so many times. There is no copyright issue because they are very, 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 very old. Secondly, we already know it is by Pythagoras or say Newton. So, and also we are quoting their name, we are acknowledging them duly. So there is no harm using that. And there is no active copyright to this material as of now, 2020. It would have been then. I mean, 1957, the law was formed. Prior to that, people were as it is using it. So very, very old and published things, we already know it is by Newton. We are not, harming his profile or probably stealing his monetization or commercialization of that particular product. He's already earned his name and fame and he's beyond that. But the newly published works, for example, the last 10-20 years of work, the copyright for whom is still active, and he might have made money, but since you started using his work and now you're making money, stealing money out of his business, then you definitely stand answerable. Newton and Pythagoras are very, very old to now claim a right on copyright now, on their copyright.
Yeah, but all such theorems and all, not only
Yes.
in civil engineering, all branches of worldly knowledge, all these theorems and all, everybody is teaching in all universities.
Yes.
We are using all these formulae, theorems which are established, and hundreds of textbooks are there on that in all
Right.
the countries.
May I
Right.
say something on this?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Please come in, ma'am.
I suppose, as far as my knowledge is concerned, making use of somebody's published work for commercial purpose will lead to a breach of copyright. But some scientists have done something. Using that for further research is not a copyright breach. When you are using the proved formula for further research or solving problems, does not lead to the copyright breach. But if you use those for your commercial purpose without quoting them, without using the source, then that will lead to the copyright breach. Whereas if you're doing a research, you have to use those formulae, then only you can go ahead for the research. Even in the textbooks, when we are referring to the formula, it is specifically mentioned that it is so. It is mnemonic. It is already called as Newton's law. There itself, the copyright is hidden. You are not saying that it is my law or your law. You are calling it as Newton's law. So by default, the copyright is existing. It has nothing to do with number of years or anything. It is the copyright does exist, and basic copyright of Newton's law is, as far as my knowledge is concerned, is with US. But you can use it for research purpose and studying further sciences. That is always allowed, and you have to refer to the sources whenever you write your references below your paper.
And one more question in continuation with this, like I really don't know in your background, like your HR background, but in engineering background, we use lot of country codes. Like there are formulae or standards published by country codes like IS code or American code, which we use day in and day out. And we solve all problems or do design using those codes. So what if I publish some maybe a quiz or a YouTube video using those coded information? It is supposed to be used. I mean, they have made the codes to be used, not just to be kept in the cupboards. So where does this copyright law stands for all such information we have to use, which we are supposed to use? So I don't know.
Ma'am, there are two things. Yeah. No. I completely get your point, though I'm not from the engineering
Yeah.
background. But there is certain information which is meant to be used for further research. As long as you're making money out of it or using it for your own benefit, and you're not harming the original creator's reputation, then you're allowed to. As even ma'am said about Newton's law, for example, it is meant to be used for further studies, and we know it is Newton's law. Everybody knows it. As I said earlier, you're not saying this is my work, this is my code, and you're not writing Medha Moge, copyright Medha Moge. So, and you're not making money out of it. You are using it for further benefit and for further teaching.
No,
So
I'm making money out of it. In a way, if I'm teaching, any professor is teaching, like 12th standard has that Newton's law. Everywhere in all colleges, yeah.
Ideally,
ma'am, the law is meant to be. Yes, ma'am, please.
ideally
losing
speaking, your every content should be given a source of reference. When I am writing the notes, I am giving the notes to the students, or if I am writing a textbook, whatever sources I have referred, that has to be mentioned, and that is not our routine practice. So indirectly, we are breaching the copyrights. Ideally speaking, even if you are writing a tutorial and assignment, you have to write the source below. If you have not written, because the awareness is not so created, and people, those who are great, those who have already published the work, they do not mind using their research work for further studies. They don't take an objection. So far so good, but otherwise it is mandatory that you write the references below your matter, so automatically you are
Acknowledging.
acknowledging it.
Yeah, I think we write like all code references, even table numbers, refer table 19, code IS 456 something. And there are few things which are like codal formulae or all these theorems and all these laws, Newton's law or Terzaghi's law, Coulomb's law, all those we are using in our day-to-day practice. And of course, we are earning money with that. I mean, somewhere with these famous theorems and copyright, I have a confusion. So basically, we should only write that referring to Coulomb's theory, and you mean to say like that. And the understanding of those theorems, like everyone understands it in a little different way. It is personal, changes from person to person. So if I understand it like this, and I tell students like that, someone else may have understood it little different way, or someone may have understood in the same way. So he is also talking about a plus b is equal to c. I am also talking about a plus b is equal to c. Maybe he has talked half an hour before me and I have said little after it. So that doesn't mean I am copying him. I am referring to some knowledge which is there available, not me alone. I'm talking about all the teachers. So everybody is teaching any theorem like Pythagoras theorem. So he might have taught half an hour before me. I have taught half an hour or half a day after him. That doesn't mean I'm copying him. It is my understanding also. So does it have a copyright problem?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, until and unless you're using and publishing that work, in case you're quoting him and saying this is Pythagoras theorem that I'm teaching a plus b is equal to c, whatever, and you're telling the students this is Pythagoras theorem that I'm teaching you, and then comes Sonali ma'am and she teaches another division about the same Pythagoras theorem. She is not copying you, or you're not copying Pythagoras. You're using his theorem as a basis of teaching further studies. And yes, everybody's interpretation could be different. In case you derive something new out of it, then that becomes your copyright. In case you do, as far as understanding is concerned, people can understand it differently. Just quoting orally and saying this is Pythagoras theorem does not make you breach the copyright. In case you use that and publish it, yes. Sorry.
Basically, ideas or methods will not be copyrighted. What we are using is ideas and methods, so they are not copyrighted.
Expressions of those ideas in a tangible, say in a written form, or if you're publishing it. That's what you're saying, ma'am?
Yeah. So even the quizzes are made using these formulae. Basis is some theorems and formulae. Nobody over here is formulating something new. Everything has some basis. So is there any harm in floating such quizzes? Now quizzes is maybe a personal, someone has floated quizzes. It is very similar to something like university question paper also. Like maybe quiz is my personal and university question paper is by university for 10,000 students or 1,000 students. So if that is allowed, even this should be allowed. What do you, I mean, am I right?
I didn't get this question, ma'am. Sorry.
Now, maybe I'm going back to same Pythagoras theorem.
Right.
I'm using that theorem, any theorem, so many lakhs of theorems. I'm using that theorem, suppose to make a quiz. And it is my personal quiz book or I'm floating across quiz and people are reading it or solving it. Now this is at personal level, small scale. Now similar, that same Pythagoras theorem is used in some university. It's a big large scale, and to set some question in a paper, that question is floated across, solved by university students, maybe 1,000 or 10,000 students. So I am on a small scale using it in a quiz. Somebody is using it in a large scale, in a university question paper or anywhere. So if he is allowed to float his questions based on some theorems or even the codes or standards, And if I'm using it for quiz, if he is allowed, then I'm also allowed, isn't it?
Ma'am, as long as you're acknowledging that it is not your work and it is Pythagoras' work, I don't see there is a copyright issue here. Everybody knows this is Pythagoras' theorem. You're not adding your name to it. You're not saying this is my work.
Yeah.
Same in the case of Newton, same in the case of ABC, other people who've done that research earlier on as well. So you can, of course, use it in quizzes, and of course, in the question paper, you will have to ask question. If the syllabus talks about Pythagoras theorem, you'll have to ask a question based on that. As long as you're acknowledging that, yes, this is Pythagoras' theorem that I'm using, you've already acknowledged when you say that, there is no breach of copyright. But proper acknowledgement and giving proper source to whatever, even if a single line, single word you've taken from somewhere, you have to properly acknowledge it and admit it is not your work and not your original creation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, in quiz answers, anyway, all the references one will have to give, so one will give. But,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, nice.
Yes.
So basically, the demarcation or benchmark is 1970, is it? That law has come in 1970
No.
in India.
No, ma'am. The law was enacted in 1957, not that. But as long as the author of that particular, say, creation lives plus 60 years beyond his death, that is what the law says. The copyright remains active. So even if he dies, his successors are bound to earn royalty. If he's written a book, for example, so whoever his successors, his legal successors are, they continue to earn and enjoy the royalty till 60 years beyond his death. In some countries, it varies from 50 to 100 years beyond death. So there's no benchmark of 1970. There's no benchmark of 1957 also when the law got enacted. Any work which is produced stays active for copyright throughout the life of the author, plus beyond his life for a period of 60 years in India. I think in US it is 60 or 70 years. I'll have to check on that. It differs from country to country.
Neha ma'am,
Ji ma'am.
there are queries from students also. Can I?
Please.
There are some projects or devices or article have different way of projection in different applications. So if one project application is used on other project application, then also it violating the rules of copyrights.
As long as you mention the source of that particular application, it is okay. You just have to acknowledge. You have to write in references that this particular application was used based on which I have created my application. Whatever source you take it from, make sure you put it in the references column. Please do not project anything as your original work. It's very simple. All you have to do is put it and acknowledge it. Put the source, put the reference, wherever you have taken it from. Do not project even a word of your program, thesis, report, article as your own original work. If you have taken it from somewhere, all you have to do is acknowledge, so that people know that, okay, you used this particular application to create something, of your own. And something of your own that you have created is then your copyrighted work.
Ma'am, one more question by Sudesh Agrawal sir. Ma'am, as per my knowledge, the person who makes an application or product, if it's not for reproduction, then he or she is supposed to mention this as disclaimer.
Yes, he will have to mention that it is not meant for reproduction. If you see a lot of films and documentaries, they have the disclaimer in the beginning that this piece of documentary is not meant for reproduction purposes. Yes, he has to mention that. But that if he does not mention that, it does not mean that it can be freely reproduced. If the person is listening to me, if he does not mention that in the disclaimer, it does not mean it can be freely reproduced by anybody. So even if you try to reproduce it, then he has the right to sue you. Please understand that, because even if he does not write, I told you, for copyright, he does not need to go to the court to get it registered. As soon as he's made it, it is his copyrighted work. Sometimes you see this C in front of a particular code or a movie, that C in the circle, that just signifies that this is copyrighted work.
Ma'am, one more query. Prathamesh Maikar is asking, ma'am, if I do a research and that comes a bit same like someone other did it before me, but I didn't knew and I did it myself, will it be considered a copied research?
Yes. Now, ignorance is not an excuse here. If if you're trying to say that you've done a research without, which is not based on any previous research, it's absolutely your original. I must congratulate you on that. But in case even 1% of your research, if you've taken some matter from somewhere, please acknowledge it. The question was, ma'am, can you please repeat it again?
1 second.
Yeah. He did not know that there's a similar research already published somewhere. That's what he said.
Yes.
No, then he needs to know about it. If he's researching on a topic, then research does not mean that you read 2 research articles on the topic and your research is done. Your research should be in depth. Almost every article and everything that has been done on that topic, you should have researched it to death. That is one thing. Secondly, if at all it happens and you say that you did not know about it, and that person comes to know that you have done it, then ignorance is not an excuse. You can still be sued. So make sure you're not ignorant. That does not work as an excuse from you being not sued or you moving out of that case without being harmed.
Ma'am, one more question. Ma'am, consider if someone did some theoretical work and we did practically, do we still have to mention them appreciating their work, or will it create problem?
You'll have to repeat this, ma'am.
Ma'am, consider if someone did some theoretical work and we did it practically, do we still have to mention them appreciating their work, or will it create problem?
Yes, you'll have to appreciate, you'll have to acknowledge. If you're picking up a theoretical work and trying to work practically on that, please make sure you acknowledge that this is the piece of work that I am trying to work on practically. Acknowledgement is absolutely important. You can't run away from that.
Ma'am, one more query from Rahul. Ma'am, there are many cracked version of softwares available on internet. Why doesn't company sue them to remove those cracked softwares?
Yes.
They are easily available throughout the net.
Yes. So who has asked this question?
Ram Shilimkar.
Ram, you have actually
Sorry, Rahul Shimalkar. Sorry.
Rahul,
Yeah.
you have actually entered into my area of research work. I worked on software copyright infringement. I was also questioning people during my survey as to why do they have these pirated windows in their laptops and why aren't they using the original ones. The problem is with enforcement. In India, the enforcement agencies are still trying hard, by the means of cyber hunting to see which are these people who are using cracked software. It's a little difficult to trap, and then the enforcing and the whole procedure is very, very cumbersome. But once it is there in the knowledge, then you'll sure get caught. So things are just evolving in India. We are still, at a stage wherein coding and everything has started very lately happening here. So we are trying our best. I've done a lot of research on this. Enforcement agencies these days are now active more than before. I'll share, if possible, after the webinar gets over, a few cases wherein people have been, taken care of for producing cracked software. But things are happening. It's not that not being caught. They're a little slow and delayed, but things are definitely happening.
Ma'am, one more question from Ram sir. Many Indic text and sciences have been repackaged by Western world as theirs without acknowledging the Indic sources. Your say on that? For example, Pythagoras law is taken from Bahudanaya.
Yes. Yes. Sir, we need to be strong enough as a group of people. In case we have facts that can be produced in the court of law, in case we have those texts which we can prove that yes, from these texts Pythagoras' theorem has been taken.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking. Hello. Hello. Hello, Neha ma'am, can you hear me?
Anywhere these people can be sued. If we
Neha ma'am.
okay.
Your
Just
voice
a
was
moment.
breaking. We couldn't hear anything.
Ma'am, is it better
Can you
now?
repeat? Yes, ma'am. It is good.
I mean, now,
Hello.
am I audible now?
Yes,
Am I
ma'am.
audible, Sonali
Yes,
ma'am?
yes, ma'am. Now it
Great.
is.
Yes, Ram sir, in case we are armed with facts and figures, in case we have documentation to support the fact that Pythagoras theorem has been taken from Bahudayan, then we can definitely sue the people who are using it. But anything that is taken to the court of law should be backed by factual evidence and not a mere, hearsay or something that we've heard from somewhere. So in case we have ample proof that yes, this was ours and it has been copied, we can definitely go to the courts of law. Ram sir.
Ma'am, from Anas Kasmani, he's saying how to claim copyright if someone have stolen the information from my work.
Perfect. You can take him to the court any day. You can register a complaint and he can be sued. If you're sure and you can produce the copy, if he has published, for example, a research paper taking your readings, your findings, you can definitely take him to court. You can do that. If you want a detailed procedure, I can forward it to Sonali ma'am. She'll forward it to you.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one more.
Please.
Ma'am, that we all know that some Bollywood movie is totally. One second. Ma'am, we have torrent which largely possess cracked software and pirated movies, but still these softwares are available on net, that too on Google Play Store. Why doesn't Google remove those apps?
Oh, everybody's vested interests are there. So even if they know what the procedure is, they all work hand in hand, honestly. So torrent with Google and with other big houses. So yes, this is a very important query. Everybody knows of torrent. Everybody knows that movies are being downloaded and then you can see it without actually paying the ticket. And it does not go to the pocket of the people who are making that movie. But things are on their way, and it's not that torrent is not heard of or not known by the enforcement agencies, but there are certain vested interests who keep delaying the process of prosecution and say they being caught. So we'll have to wait and watch as to what happens to torrent. But yes, they are in the eyes of the enforcing agencies.
Ma'am, there is one question from student about the assignments which they write. Ma'am,
Yes.
even though our assignment work is unique among students, but it is still copied from internet or books. So how is copyright important to such work?
Very, very important. Why can't you put the source of the book from which you've copied? For example, I have a book here on my table. It says predictive analysis dummies. Why can't you write predictive analytics dummies by such and such authors, published by second edition, published by the publishing house that is mentioned here somewhere? Why can't you give the name of the book, the title, the name of the authors, the chapter number, the page number? What stops you? See, citing from a particular source is not a crime. We are all learning from the previous published research papers. My thesis was not originally from A to Z written by me. I had scanned around thousands of research articles which I had included in my thesis. But then I had an equal number of references given at the end of the thesis. So in your assignments, definitely they're not your original creation. But if you're using a book, what stops you from quoting the references? And that is one thing. What about the other thing? That one assignment goes around in the class and everybody copies that, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, ma'am.
Please create, see, it becomes a habit. Students, you must understand this. What you do as a joke today, it becomes a habit and then a character. Then you lose the stamina to research. You think it is easy. It is a quick shortcut because nobody is catching you here. You copy assignments. Professors don't want to spoil your career. They will not take you to the court for copying an assignment, for example. But please inculcate a habit of writing something original. Even when you face an interview and you talk about something which is your original creation, does it not sound more confident, convincing, and authoritative? And will the interviewer not come to know that you have been copying project reports and dissertation reports throughout the semester? If you start today, then you probably develop the habit, because research requires effort and nobody wants to take that effort. It's easy to copy. Why don't you start making that effort today? Okay, you have taken a source, I agree. You've taken it from somewhere. Please mention, you can mention it in your assignment. What stops you from putting references below that?
Ma'am, one last two questions I'll take.
Please.
Can you please elaborate cyber funding? What it exactly can do?
Cyber funding is a very, very long topic, ma'am. Maybe we can have another webinar on that. Cyber funding will take around 30 minutes for me to explain. So, or maybe I can send detailed notes to you post the webinar.
Okay, ma'am.
Next question, you wanted to take one more.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am, apps like Facebook uses over phone number and email ID and sell them to third party for their use. Can we sue them for crores for giving over numbers and personal details to those third party apps?
This does not come under the domain of copyright as such, yes, because it is me who has been negligent enough to first of all open my phone to Facebook, allowing them every permission. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is very smart. He can say, I first asked for permission and then it happened. These people are not sitting there to be sued. So, every app that we go into, it asks for certain permissions. Can we share your location? Yes or no. Can we use your contact numbers? Yes or no. Can we use your pictures? Yes or no. Can we use your audio? Yes or no. It is we who are giving them permission to use it. And those people are very smart. So we cannot blame them for using our phone numbers or sharing it with third party, because we are ourselves giving them the permission to do so, because we are tempted to use Facebook. Unless we click on yes, probably will not go to it will not take us to the second page. So that doesn't come under the issue of copyright until and unless somebody without your permission, has taken your phone number or taken your private information. Facebook and Twitter, they all ask for permissions, and students know that better than me. We allow them to access our information. Sonali ma'am. I think I've lost Sonali ma'am. Ma'am, can you hear me? Junaid sir, can you hear me? Yeah, I think we've lost Sonali ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we have one or two questions.
Please.
Can I just go ahead?
Please go. Please go. Make them the last two questions. I have a session
Yes.
at 4:30. Yeah.
What is about hacking someone's computer activity without his permission?
What about that? It's wrong. It's criminal.
I mean, is it under copyright? Hacking somebody's PC or mobile phone?
See, this is more of a criminal activity. It is much more than copyright. I mean, you're hacking somebody's original creation. It is definitely copyright, and it is much more beyond that. The person who's asking the question should know hacking is a crime. It's a criminal offense. More than civil remedies, you'll have to be ready for imprisonment as well. That should be it. We have one more
One
question.
last question.
Yes, please.
Junaid sir, Sonali
Yes.
madam by mistake disconnected, so please carry.
Yes, ma'am.
Ji.
And one question was there from a student that most of the Bollywood movies are the copy from the Telugu movie or Tamil movies. So is it violating the copyrights issue?
Very much.
Of course it has, 100%. We see a lot of, we read a lot about in the newspapers that even for names, if you use the name of a particular old movie, if you're making another Mangal Pandey, and there is a movie by the name of Mangal Pandey already there, you need to take due permission from the maker of that particular movie to even use the name. Forget about making the whole movie again. This is definitely a copyright issue. So the maker, the original movie maker can sue you, 100%.
That's it, ma'am. Thank you so much from Rizvi College of Engineering for taking such an informative session for all the students and the teachers. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
so
Neha
much.
madam.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
Varsha
much,
ma'am.
madam, for sparing your precious time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Varsha ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Maida madam.
Thank you.
All the students are requested to kindly go through the quiz and submit it within 5 minutes, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Thank you, students. Thank you, professors. Thank you so much.
Those who have finished, please leave the meeting.